And we're back with the Home Service Legends podcast today. And I'm in the somewhat renovated room at our HQ here in Melbourne. And we're in the middle of renovating. We're in the middle of making this a bigger space, somewhere we can spread our wings, somewhere we can have some more guests, have some more people. So I do want to apologize for the delay. I think the last time I looked, it's been 2 months since we've released a podcast, and it feels like it was about 2 weeks ago. We've been flying around the country with Titan Works, helping out. This is our other business, helping customers get on Service Titan right the first time, and with a tremendous amount of success. Man, there's some cool businesses out there. We've been to some awesome shops with some fantastic teams, and we've watched people implement this thing and absolutely crush it. It's so impressive to see. And we're back now, got a couple of weeks break, just taking some time to kind of regroup, get things going here. And I thought this was a perfect time, even though we're midway through. We've got ladders stacked over there. I got boxes. We've got things arriving from Amazon. But I wanted to take a minute to just drop something out to the community because I've been getting a lot of text messages from people saying, am I all right? I haven't seen a podcast in 2 months. So today I wanted to, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I want to kind of give things that can help people just get into action today and get things moving in their business, because I'm sick and tired of watching podcasts about, hypothesizing about things and, just talking about numbers. But the reality is we need to go back and put stuff into our business. Now, if you're a long-time listener or a first-time listener, of this podcast, you'll know that we are growing up, scaling up, and moving up our home service plumbing business here in Melbourne, Australia. And everything that we share today is just, it's just our experience and the things that we found along the journey, trying to help people kind of open up their minds, try a few different things. It's not perfect. Man, we've run this badly before. There's no question about it. We've been wherever you're at right now, whether it's in success or it's in the trenches right at the second, well, we've been there, right? We've done a great job of growing and scaling this business. Man, we've done a great job of messing it all up too. So I think that's what's cool about this podcast is it kind of gives us an opportunity to share the lessons that we've learned along the way and some of the wins we've had, so that we can share those with the community so that other people can learn from our mistakes. And, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me what your biggest mistake was, and I'd love to hear what that was. Send me a message. I'd love to hear about it. And not only your biggest mistake, but what was your biggest win? Because I find that wins come from losses, right? You can only win if you've lost. And I think you have to know that sometimes, you take these risks and they work out and sometimes they don't. But today is not talking about risk. Today is talking about real action. And what I wanted to talk about is the 15-minute price check that finds your leak. So I've written a couple notes here, and, I just want to keep it tight and practical. I want to talk today about the full calendar. Right? The full calendar. The team's flat out, and you still can't work out where the money is going. You're busy, but the bank account, it's not going up. If the bank account is not going up, you're not making any money. It's pretty much as simple as that. We met with one of our really good friends, Ellen Raw, probably, I'm going to say 12 to 24 months ago. And she helped us turn around our business, look at our financials, make sure we were on track, make sure things were looking good, make sure the business was operating well. And, one of the things she cleared up for us was that, it doesn't need to be overly complicated to run your business. You don't need to have everything set so that you don't need to have everything set so we're looking at the minutia of every single thing. One of the greatest things she did with our P&L was just go we used to look at our P&L and be like, tolls, if this is for vehicles, right? Tolls, fuel, loan repayments, servicing, maintenance. And she went, you know what? Let's just close that in. Vehicles, right? That's what vehicles are. Vehicles cost X. Next, the only things we kind of broke out I think was advertising, was like looking at Google ads versus PPC versus SEO versus mailers, flyers. So I think we broke that down from memory. But the rest of the stuff, we just closed it in. We made a G&A account, which is basically like, I don't even know what that stands for, but it was just general, like just a general account to put everything else in. I stopped messing around and being like, food, entertainment, like we just collapse it in, make it simple. What we want to know at the top, we want to know revenue. Then we want to know technician costs, so the cost of labor, then the cost of materials. Then we look at our gross profit. Then underneath that, it was like really simple. Office employees, vehicles, software, marketing broken down to 3 or 4 categories, couple other things, but like really it was simplified. And I think that allows us to stop this focus on, spreading all this stuff around. Because what ended up happening with, like, especially if you're a business that has, a P&L that has 2 or 3 divisions, if you've got plumbing, electrical, HVAC, or you break the business down into other things like that, you try to like break the business down into these categories where it's like plumbing, and you've got 6 trucks, and you're like, it's 66% of the revenue. Like it like we were trying to split out the bills. It didn't make any sense to us. Like at the end of the day, it was all not real numbers. So if the numbers aren't real, and that's kind of what Alan told us, was like, if it ain't perfect, then it's just not accurate. And if it's not accurate, what are we supposed to do with inaccurate numbers? So I don't know if that's exactly how she said it. So sorry, Alan, if I've messed that up. But that's what I took away from it, was if we can't get it right, then it's wrong. That's what I took away from it. If we can't get it right, then it's wrong. And then what are we supposed to do? Run our business off wrong numbers? So we divisionalized it at the top: plumbing, electrical, whatever it might have been, handyman at the time. And then everything else just falls into one line underneath, because it's just the rest of the company. It's not divisionalized like this. And I really like that. And I think where I'm going with this is, the point of today is finding out that there's that one job just for today. Let's find that one job that's quietly losing you money. The promise is by the end, we're going to have some idea of the most common jobs and find at least the ones that are priced wrong. So I want you to get your pen out, go into the office, pull over, whatever you've got to do, and find a way to work out where you're losing money. Find a way to work out where you're making money. Find a way to work out where you're losing money, right? Full schedules hide losses. Full schedules make us feel busy. Revenue is not margin. The things that we constantly find are just never getting factored into jobs is, the van, fuel, office. What else did I write down here? Warranty checks, callbacks, all of these things. Reese keeps lifting their prices, or TradeLink, or whatever. Everyone keeps increasing prices, or inflation happens, whatever it might be. These things are all real world things. And I guarantee you that I will go into businesses where they haven't risen, their price has not risen in years. You might be one of them. Your price should be going up every month, right? To allow for inflation. You should be doing something. And I think today's takeaway is like, pull over, find out where you're losing money. Go back and have a look at all your different revenue streams. Go and work out where you're losing money. Because it could be that Strata account you have. It could be that real estate thing you got going on. It could be this builder that you work for. Go and find out where you're losing money and cut it out, or change it, or increase the price. Go and find out where things are going wrong. Is it in some sort of servicing, some sort of warranty that you guys look after? Go and find that. Find out if they're actually making money. What is it actually doing? Is it actually benefiting your business? Is it hurting your business? Are you better off without it? So today I think it's worth having a look at that stuff and go, does this actually make sense, or are we just busy? Is there really money in this? Is there really money in this? And I think, you know, I think what we've got to do is we've got to find a way to simplify our business. We've got to find a way to take out some of that complexity. We've got to go and have a look at really everything as a whole, because we've had people say to us, this job, this builder we work for, he pays well, he pays our full ticket, or he pays our full rate, or he pays some variation of that. And then we go, yeah, but he also wants us to do upload to a portal, and then he wants us to give him 60 days to pay, and then he wants us to do, he doesn't want to pay a deposit, and then he doesn't want to do this, and then they don't want to do that, and then they want us to submit 5 documents, and then they want us to revisit the site 3 times. And you're like, well, dude, even if they're paying you full rate, you this is dead in the water. The amount of overhead you've got from the office now is going to chew up all of the profit in this. So I think it's worth having a look at that stuff and going like, is this really margining out? Can I really make money from this? Does this really make sense? And I think we did that. We've done that periodically throughout time, but we really hit that hard last year, end of 2025. We went through, graded our commercial customers from A to D, I think, and then just started getting rid of the Ds, got rid of the Cs, got rid of the Bs, and then we kept the A's. And to be honest with you, we're almost out of A's now. We're just trying to move out of that market. I'm not saying that commercial work doesn't work, but I rarely see it ever work. It can work exceptionally well for some people, but the structure that I see in most businesses just doesn't work. It just doesn't number out. You can keep telling yourself that it does, but most of the time it does not. And do you know how we know? Is the bank account going up? Is the question you need to be asking yourself. If the bank account is not going up consistently, if every month you don't have more money than you had last month, then they don't make any money. There's no money there. And you need to be, if you've got some sort of deal where for your regular customers you're charging X, and then for a builder you charge half of that or a quarter of that, there's no chance you're making money out of that. There's no chance that on a Monday you go to Mrs. Jones's house and you've got to charge this much, and then you've got a builder that pays a quarter of that or a half of that, and that somehow that's still supposed to make money. It's just not going to work out. So you really need to focus on, does this make money? Does this make money? Ask yourself, does this make money? Go through and have a look at those. Are we factoring in all of our overhead? Don't raise everything at once. Just fix the worst offender first. That would be my recommendation, is don't go in and raise prices immediately for everybody, but start to grade them. Find the worst offender. Find the customer that you're likely making the least amount of money from, and start to tackle that one. Start to find out, what can we do here? Can we up it? Can we increase it? Can we move it? Could we move this thing forward? What can we do to improve it? So we basically, the way that we essentially got rid of customers in the commercial field is we just raised the prices to where they needed to be. And the ones that stayed, they stayed. And then we were like, everyone's happy. This works because we're making the margins we need to make to survive and actually make a profit. Because remember, business owners, for some reason, there's an idea that if you're a tradesperson, you shouldn't be allowed to make a profit. You should be able to make a really good profit and have a good life and give back to your community. On Friday, we had a full team day off, training, having fun. We went to play golf. We had lunch. We brought everybody back here for a good time. Everybody was playing games, whatever they were doing. At the end of the day, and I had every single person from our team come up and say, this is an awesome place to work. And that's exactly how your business should be. You should be able to do this for other people. You should be able to take the profit and do something cool with it. Do something for your team. Give them a career. Give them a life. Go out and donate it to a charity, to your church, to whatever it is that you're passionate about. Catherine Howard said it to us when she was here in our office. She said, money in the hands of good people can do good things, or something along those lines. And I think she's absolutely right. Like, if you've got no money, if your business is broke, you can't help anyone. You might as well take the money. You're a good person, get the money, and then go and do good things with it. Help people out. Your staff are going to have times that are tough in their life, whether it's a health issue, children, family, divorce, marriage, whatever it might be. And if you have money, you can do good things for your people, right? So I think you owe it to your team to go and find out what's not working and where you're losing money. So find those like top 5 worst contenders and go back and fix the worst one first. See what it is that you need to do. If it's thin or negative on a job, and you do 10 of those jobs a week, you've probably found it, right? Go back and look at your profit margins. Make sure that you bring your costings in from your supplier, bring it into Service Titan or whatever you're using, bring it in, have a look at it, look at those margins and make sure that they make sense. I can't tell you where you need to be, but GP-wise, good businesses are operating at 50, 60, 70% GP. That's where you need to be, because once you factor in your overheads, there's not a ton left at the bottom, right? And you need to run a good business because you're a good person and you're going to look after your team, right? And you're going to do great things. So fix the worst offender first. Customers rarely flinch as well. Like, if it's a small price increase, they rarely flinch, but just be increasing, always be increasing, especially if you've got something like Service Titan that allows you to, just monthly, just boop, bump the price up. Just put 1%, 5%, $10, $1, $5, $100, whatever it is. You have to allow for inflation. Things are getting more expensive and business owners are just sitting there copying the same prices. When the fuel's going up, they're just wearing the same prices. Learn and push and continue to drive forward, because it will catch up with you eventually. I think that's probably a really good place to land the plane and say, like, that's enough information for you this week. So go back to the office, have a look at all the jobs you completed last week. Go and look at the margins. If you're in Service Titan, you can print out a report of all the job margins. Go and have a look at them and be real with yourself and work out, like, if they're at like 30% GP, there's probably no money in them. By the end of it, after your overheads come out, there's probably nothing left. If you're at 20% GP, like, you're probably going to be stuck there. And this is another one I just want to say too. I saw someone do this last week. They showed me 2 jobs that were at like 14% gross profit. And I know you're going to lose on those, right? There's no profit. We're talking about gross profit, right? So we're talking about before overheads come out. So they said, oh, yeah, but then have a look at this same one we did for that same guy. It's at 60. It's like, it ain't at 60, brother, because the 60 gets pulled down by the 14, and then it ends up being an average. I can't do that type of numbers in my head, but ultimately, if you have a 60 and you have a 10, your average ticket gross margin is like here, right? It's not 10 and 60. It's not like sometimes we do well and sometimes we don't. It all averages out, and that's how come you come out and you go, oh, actually, it's 30% across the line, because we actually do more of those 10s than I realized, and we don't do as many of those 60s as I thought. And I think you got to work that out. If the bank account is not going up, then you are not making any money. Pretty simple. I love you guys. I want to see you succeed. Reach out to me in any way you want. WhatsApp, send me a message. Send me a message through this, Instagram, LinkedIn, however you want to get in touch with me. Give us a call. I would love to hear from you and what's happening in your business. I just want you guys to succeed, and I hope that everybody enjoys this content going out. I hope it wasn't too ranty, but I thought I'd take a quick second to share what's going on at the moment, and I just want to thank you guys for everything you do. My name's Mitch. This is the Home Service Legends podcast, and I will see you soon. Take care, team.